Hey book nerds, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Sydney, and on this corner of the internet I just talk about books I'm getting rid of, books I buy, books that I'm reading, books that I want to read. Sorry, I'm out of breath, just got back from the gym, did a couple things around the house, I had some lunch, so now I'm a little bit out of breath. But we are all good. I'm here, got my electrolytes, ready to rock and roll. Yeah. I went through my shelves with a fine tooth comb and picked off all of the ones that I have finished and are never going to read again, or I can read on KU and I wouldn't want to move them from this house to a new house. And I also had a stack of books that I've DNF'd, but I have family that's coming into town in a couple of weeks, and they're also avid readers, and they're books that I think that they would enjoy, and so they get first dibs. And then depending on how that goes, the leftover books will either be donated, sold, traded, those kinds of things. So in this video, we're going to go through all of the books that have either been on my physical TBR or that have been on my shelves and have physically read. All of these shelves have either been pulled off in about a month ago, or I DNF'd them, or I'm just never going to read them again. And there are some in here that are going to send people into an uproar because I DNF'd them and they're very popular. So without further ado, let's dive on into the video. All right, we are going to start off with this series. I enjoyed the series. I loved it. I think I rated every star minimum of 4 stars. And that is the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. So you basically are in this fantasy world where you have elites and you have ordinaries, and the ordinaries are basically killed off because they can taint elite blood if they were to mate. And there's this girl named Peyton who is an ordinary, but she learns at a very young age how to hide that and pretends to be a psychic, so that she does not get sent off. And she meets the king's son, who is obviously going to be an elite, and there's romance and trials and those kinds of things. This series is I thought it was very good. I know a lot of people said that it is kind of a riff off of Red Queen. I've never read Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, personally. This one is definitely very YA. And with that, I just, I'm never going to read it again. I'm kind of getting to that phase in my life where, like, reading YA books is not appealing to me anymore. So this is the first series I have physically read, but will also not ever read again. Next up, we have Dead Girls Can't Tell Secrets by Chelsea Icasso. So I also have read They're Watching You, and that was actually the first one that I read by her, and that one was phenomenal. Dead Girls Can't Tell Secrets was a little disappointing in comparison to that one. She's still a very talented author, but it's also along the same vein of a very YA, follows high school students. I would probably never read it again. I would read They're Watching You again. This one, the twist didn't hit. The plot twist did not smack you in the face like you would expect, and I'm never going to pick this one up again. So this one is going to go to a new loving home. I did enjoy it. I did finish it. I'm just not going to pick it back up. All right, next we have the One of Us is Lying series, all 3 of them. So this one was good. I enjoyed all 3 books. I read them all and I finished them all. But if you're sensing a trend here, follows high school students and a mystery that happens with someone dying at their high school. So I'm never going to read it again. I'm never going to pick it up. It was literally just like, did I like it? Yes. Did I like it enough to keep it on my shelf and take up space and ever move it again? No. So the reason I take moving into account is we are in a rental house, and so the chances of us staying here for more than 2 years max is relatively low. And so basically my thought process with books that I keep is, would I read it again, and would it be worth loading up a box with that book to move it to a new house permanently. And with these, I can't say that it is. All right, then, so these two are Lisa Jewell's. I have another Lisa Jewell book that one of my friends is borrowing that I might honestly just tell her she really likes it, she can keep it. Because, like, Lisa Jewell's books are good. Like, none of this is true was fairly twisty at the end. And the one that my friend has is Then She Was Gone, which is also very twisty, and I did not expect that ending. But I have zero desire to read any of her books ever again. She's not one of my favorite authors. These two, The Family Remains and None of This Is True, will be on their way to find a new loving home for them as well. Now we have the Inheritance Games. So this is the original trilogy of that series. I know there's some spinoffs like the Brothers Hawthorne and things that I have not read. I don't really have a desire to pick these books up again. You're sensing a trend here, very YA, very much not my vibe anymore. So I thoroughly enjoyed these books. I ate these up so fast, but I'm never gonna pick them up again. So I might as well send them to a loving home with a new owner who will love and cherish them for a while. So these are gonna go, and I have thanked them for their service and the fun story that they are, but their time in my library is over. Right, I'm gonna get in trouble for these next two because this author is very talented, she's very popular, she's very beloved. For whatever reason, me and her books don't match. So yeah, I DNF'd both of the Babel and the Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I tried, okay? I tried both of these. Everyone told me, like, if you can get through the first, like, 50% of Babel, you're golden, and it gets really good. And I've heard a ton of people say, like, this is the best out of the entire trilogy. Talented? Yes. An author I'm gonna pick up her books again and read? Probably not. Alright, so the Book of Lost Things, it was a gift for my birthday last year, and I finally got to it. It was kind of pushed to get to it because it was free on Audible, and it was about to expire that free. It was about to cost a credit, and so I was like, I'll go ahead and listen to it. And I finished it. I think I gave it 2.75 stars. Because I'm not going to keep a book on my shelf that I rate less than 3 stars. Because 3 stars meets expectations. I work in HR. I do performance reviews. If you get a 3 star, that's not bad. Like, you did your job well. You didn't go above and beyond, but you're also doing a fine, like, your job is fine. And this one was less than 3 stars. I don't know what it was. I finished it. I'm never going to want to read it again or continue in the series because there's The Land of Lost Things. I don't know. It did not vibe with me at all. Okay, and then we have His Face is the Sun. This is the first book in a series. I really wanted to love it because the end paper map is so cool. I love the stenciled edges. I was just all about this book, and I really wanted to love it. I did finish it. I have zero desire to read it again and continue in the series. I did not connect to the characters. A lot of the books that I DNF or finish and don't keep, it's a vibe situation where it's like, I can see how people like this book. I didn't not like it. I finished it. If I really don't like a book, I'm not going to finish it. But I didn't like it enough to warrant keeping it. Like, the plot seemed all over the place. It was hard to keep track of. And the characters I just could not vibe with. So, His Face is the Sun, beautiful book for someone else's shelves. Okay, and then we have One House Left by Vincent Ralph. With this one, I started it and then I DNF'd it because this is the kind of the book that made me realize that I've been in a pattern of DNFing YAs or avoiding reading the YAs on my TBR. because I'm tired of following 16-year-olds, and this is very much follows a 16-year-old, and so this kind of just fits the pattern of I don't want to read about teenagers anymore. So he can go and be well loved in someone else's house. All right, this next book is a book I absolutely adored, and I gave it 5 stars. Why am I getting rid of this copy? Because I have the special edition over there, The Perfect Marriage. If you have not read this, if I could throw it at you through the TV or the computer or the phone or wherever you're watching it, I would. I would just like ship it across time and space like it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the chocolate bar gets teleported through the TV. I can't do that though. So, but you absolutely need to read this. I ate it up like candy. It's so good. So good. It's one of those books where it's like I started reading it and then every waking moment that I physically could, I was reading this book. And I couldn't put it down. I was excited to go back to it. It's one of those books. So, definitely recommend. I'm not the person that's going to have like 17 copies of the same book. I don't see the point. I love this book so much. So definitely read it. I'm kind of sad to give away this copy because it's the first one that made me fall in love with the series. But worth it because now I have pretty edges. So we are back to why I have DNF'd books. So the next two, we have Under the Same Stars and Voyage of the Damned. I DNF'd them both for basically the same reasons. Because they're YA. Hence why I'm getting rid of them. Not vibing with YA. I wish I was. I really do. Because there are some fantastic YA books I wish I got into reading earlier in my life. Beyond just a couple of sprints where I'd get really into it and then not want to do it ever again. And yeah, I really wish that I got into it more. Because then I would have absolutely loved these books. Then, I'm not feeling them now. The Crash. So, this one, I was wary going into it because the FMC is 8 months pregnant. And if you know anything about me, you know my husband and I have been working through infertility for 2 years. It basically like stabbed in the knife and then twisted it. And also showed you how crazy people can get when you walk through infertility if you don't walk with Jesus. And it was hard. It was very hard. I got a good chunk of the way through. I think I probably got like 50-60% of the way through. And I was like, I can't finish it. I just cannot do it because of everything that happens. I don't want to say more than that because I don't want to give a spoil away. If you do want to read it and haven't read it yet, this is just one that I don't want to use the word triggering, but it triggered me more than most books do with a pregnancy trope. And I couldn't do it. So then we have How Does It Feel by Janine O'Reilly. I have friends who are obsessed with this book, and I don't understand why. I really tried, I promise. It's just one of those, was like, I couldn't do it when I started listening to it. I was like, what is happening? Why am I reading this? This is not a book. This is one of those books that if I didn't feel pressured to buy it, but it's one of those that I kind of wish I wouldn't have bought, if I'm being honest. So, then we will move on to The Shadows Between Us and The Darkness Within Us. I enjoyed both of these books. I read both of them earlier in the spring, and I love them both. They're also on Kindle Unlimited, and I'm probably never actually going to pick them up again, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm going to pass the love along for these. These are two books that, as much as I enjoy them, I'm not going to want to move them. So, these are being retired from my shelves. So, this one, no one's going to be surprised about because a ton of people have DNF'd this book. I'm one of them. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Like, what was happening? It was so cringy, worse than a Hallmark movie. And like a small town spicy romance, where? I was not vibing with any of it. Like, I get the small town romance, but it was like, he was supposed to be grumpy, but he was never he was grumpy for like a chapter, and that was it. Like, you can't say you're grumpy and then never be grumpy beyond like 4 pages. So, goodbye. With that one specifically, I was also kind of disappointed because I was hoping it would get me into like the fall cozy vibes. It did not. So, here we are. But next we have the High Mountain Court. So, I really did try to get into this one. I couldn't, was not vibing, was not the pick. So, we are going to send this off with somebody. This one I got farther in than I did How Does It Feel? But, I don't know. There was just something about it that did not click in my head. Alright, these next books, y'all, please don't come for me. I might get canceled over this. But I am getting rid of my entire Hunger Games series. Why? I enjoyed the first 3. DNF the Ballad, never read Sunrise on the Reaping, and have zero desire to. That's literally why. And I'm never going to read them again. So I'm going to make someone else's day better and pass this along and pass the trophy down. Okay, so I did finish this one. This one is A Tempest of Tea, and it was one of those where it was not a bad book. I enjoyed it. It was an easy kind of read. I just didn't connect with the characters, honestly. That's literally the reason I'm getting rid of it. One thing I've learned this year is your girl is not a Stephen King fan. Okay? I've read The Outsiders, and I kind of like that one. Like, that one was okay. I read The Mist. That one was disappointing. I also tried to read Never Flinch. I don't know what it is about Stephen King's books. I can't do it. I cannot get through them anymore. I have zero desire to pick it back up, to try it again. Because usually, like, with my DNFs, I will keep them for a minute and see if, like, my vibe changes as to if I want to give them another shot. Like, there's a couple in here that, like, I say I'm going to get rid of, and then I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try it again, and then I end up liking it. That's happened with a couple of different books that I have. Like, The Coworker with Frida McFadden is one of them. The Red on the Holly Library is one of them. And so, I don't know. But there's just something about Stephen King's writing that I just do not vibe with. So, we will be donating him, passing this baton on, and hopefully finding it a good home. Alright, so I tried Fall of Ruin and Wrath. I ended up DNFing it. I enjoyed From Blood and Ash. I thought I would enjoy this one as well. And then From Blood and Ash, I read the first 3. I read about 30 to 40% of the 4th one, and I just got so annoyed that I DNF'd it. I stopped the series then. Hence why the books are not on my shelf anymore, because I have it in my head that I cannot have an incomplete series on my shelf. So if I didn't like a book at any point in the series, I will get rid of the entire series. That kind of is playing into getting rid of the entire Hunger Games series. Because, like, if I only have, like, part of the series, why keep the rest of them? And so I started From Blood and Ash. And so then I tried another one. I think it does go back to Jennifer is very much a YA author for a lot of her books. And I don't know. I tried to get into this one. I couldn't. It just was not for me. That's okay. This next book, I finished it. I do have the collector's edition. And I really enjoyed, I enjoyed this book. One thing I have learned is I am not big into the historical fiction with, like, the parallels of present and past tense. So, good book, yes. Do I love the pretty collector's edition? Also, yes. Do I ever want to read this book again? No. Would I rather somebody else have it who would absolutely eat it up like his brain candy? Yes. So, it's like a solid 3, meets expectations, zero desire to go back to it. Moving right along, we have Firebird. I really wanted to like this. I did not. I don't know, I just felt convicted that I should not read this book, and so I did not. I DNF'd it after like 3 chapters. It was not my vibe, and it's gonna find its way somewhere else for someone. Along these similar lines, we have Guild of the Plated Prisoner series. I DNF'd this one so fast because you have this. I do. Nope. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. So, this one is gone. It is not staying in my house anymore. Okay, and then we have the last one by Rachel Unhaul. I don't really know why I got this book in the first place. I thought the premise seemed interesting. I thought I would really like it, and then I didn't. I tried. I listened to the first little bit of it, and it's just not for me. It might be for you. So this one is another thanks, but no thanks. Probably could have spent my money better kind of book. Alright, so this next one, we have a series. I'm currently listening to The Name of the Wind for book club, and I also have the second book. I don't like it. I am probably reading more of the first book than I would have otherwise because it is the book club pick. So I'm really trying to give it a fair shake, and I'm just not, it's just not clicking. And so I'm hoping I can get it finished. I have a couple more weeks before our next book club meeting to finish it, and I am just, it is not clicking. So the chances of me actually finishing it and keeping it, I'll probably end up finishing it just so I can talk about it, but keeping it, I'm not sure if I want to keep these behemoths on my bookshelf because I'm not vibing. We're not meshing at all. Okay, now we have a full-on stack of okay. Let's see. We have a full-on stack of Natasha Preston's. So the only one I have not read yet is The Lake. So I'm going to set these down because there's a lot of them and my hands are small. So, Natasha Preston books. I enjoyed them. The ones that I read, I thought they were great. I am getting rid of all of them and I'm not even going to read The Lake. And I enjoy these books. I would not read them again. And so they were taking up space. I have the most space on my physical TBR, or not my physical TBR, my thriller, mystery, horror bookshelf. But at the same time, I have a lot on my physical TBR that I want to make sure I have space for. And these are not worth keeping to me. So they are going to be lovingly cared for by somebody else. And I cannot wait for that person to enjoy them. Okay. Along the same lines, I have not read We Did Nothing Wrong. This one, it's just also YA follows high schoolers, and I don't want to read that. Right, so this book, I DNF'd. I did not find the writing to be good. I did not necessarily like the premise of it, and it just did not fit what I'm comfortable with. And so I gave it to my friends who would be super into Finnish folklore, which is what this book is based off of, and she finished it, and she was like, crap on the romanticy hype that's going on right now. And that book is The North is the Night. Because I asked her, I was like, if you read it and you finish it and you think I need to give it another chance, let me know. And I'm more than happy to do that. I will be more than happy to give it another chance. And she said no. She's like, I didn't like it. I don't think you'll like it. It is. She's like, here it is. You can have it back. All right. Next we have Beautiful Graves. It's a story with it's a romance with grief and tragedy and guilt. And I kept reading the synopsis of it because I was like, do I really want it? And I went back and forth on it for a few months of this. So I was going to keep it or if I was going to read it. And it is one of those that every time I'm like, I need to either read it or unhaul it, I unhaul it. Because I'm like, I decided to finally unhaul it because I'm not going to read it. I've had it for quite a while and I have zero intention of ever reading it, honestly. If Dexter was and then this girl's a filler. It was a very easy read for the bit that I did read, but it I just kept waiting for it to, like, what is the point of all of this? Like, why? It just did not, it didn't make me want to read it and figure out what happens. Because, like, you know who's the killer, you know who she's dating, and it's like, the only interesting part was the susness of her best friend's boyfriend. And this was not it. It was not the vibe, okay? It was not the vibe for me. It'll be the vibe for someone else, and they can enjoy it. Okay, so this one, it was very popular on Book Talk, hence why I got it. I fell into the Book Talk trap of Our Infinite Fates. It was just so repetitive. It was. I thought it was even more boring than, like, I enjoyed The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This one, not so much. V.E. Schwab said that it was impossible to put down. I thought it was very possible to put down, and I did. It was. Okay, then we have Love Letters to a Serial Killer. This one was fun. This was a very fun read. I did finish it. Very fun read. I thoroughly enjoyed the read. I'm never going to want to pick it up again. It was definitely very cheesy. It was a cheesy, like, romance thriller type novel. It's got, like, the golden retriever and the brother and the killer and all of the things. Very cute. Very fun. It was a good time. I'm never going to pick it up again. And so I'm going to let someone else love this one. Alright, so Game of Thrones. I tried to read it. I think it's just the narrator I was not a fan of. I love how floppy this book is. Such a floppy novel. And it's one of those where it's like, I want to love it, and I didn't. And I want to blame the narrator. But I don't know if it's the narrator or if it's just me. I will give this one another chance. Okay. Finally, the last two books by Travis Baldree. These are warm, fun, cozy books. You have Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust. These were very fun, very cutesy, very cozy. We love cozy. I don't know if I will ever pick them up again. You know what? Maybe I like them more if I physically read them versus listening to them narrated by Travis. That might be it. So, the last 3 books of this video, I'm going to give them another chance. I will put this back on my TBR, put this one back on my shelf because I have finished these, and I will end up rereading them. So, I might reread them soon, just for a cozy entrance into fall, because for me, fall starts today on September 1st. So, I'm going to add these to my fall reads. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this massive unhaul. I probably have 30 books that I'm getting rid of. And then there were 3 that I removed because I want to read them again or give them a second chance. They might end up in a different unhaul video and be like, I tried. I really did. I gave it a second chance. And then be like, nah, nope. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked what you see, drop a like on the video. If you have different opinions than I do on some of these books that I'm getting rid of, drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Respectfully. Be respectful. We can have differing opinions. That is fine. But let me know what you like about the book. Because I definitely enjoy hearing what other people like a book that I didn't. Because they might see something that I didn't see. And then if you also DNF'd a book, respectfully tell us why. And if you want to see more and never miss an update from me, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And I would love to have you join this wonderful bookish community full of book nerds and like-minded individuals who have a love of reading and just want to chat about it. That's literally why I started this channel, because I love reading and I want to find other people who do as well, so we can just yap about books. That's why I started it. I love talking about books, and yeah, So that's pretty much all I do on here, is I talk about books, and hope people enjoy talking about books with me and doing bookish activities. So I cannot wait to continue this journey with you. Check out some of my other videos about different books that I've read, and keep an eye out for future videos. If you don't want to miss them, subscribe and hit that bell notification button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for hanging out in this bookish community with fellow book nerds, and we'll see you later. Have a good night.